What is happening, Amazing Race fans? We are here for episode 9 of the Amazing Race 35 on the channel Amazing Reviews. I am Hurls. Joining me tonight is the one, the only Calbert. How you doing, Calbert?
What's going on, everybody?
How's your Thanksgiving, Calbert?
My Thanksgiving was good. Lots of food. Got to spend time with the family and watch some really bad football.
Yeah. Wasn't the best, was it?
No. All three games were bad. Actually, all 4 games if you throw in Black Friday's game. That wasn't great either.
That was not. Yep. The football did not get the job done this year. Let's just say that.
No.
I would have rather watched the Amazing Race on Thursday.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more exciting.
Right.
So, we are not joined by Goldberg again this week. I thought he was going to join us, but he was not able to make it. So the show must go on, and so shall our review of the second half of Slovenia. And what a strange episode this was, Calbert.
Very much so.
Some cool tasks, though.
Yeah,
got to say that I enjoyed the tasks, and we started the leg where teams were instructed to travel on foot to Congress Square in order to find their next clue, and then from there we got this week's roadblock. One team member had to attach suha roba, wooden kitchen utensils, to a backpack called a krasna, and then deliver them to a judge in order to receive their next clue. Most teams did pretty well on this. They got this done pretty quickly. Robin and Chelsea, though, struggled a little bit.
She forgot a piece, which is rolling pin. Yep, that was kind of her downfall. That was kind of the beginning of the downfall for them. When you forget a piece and you have to go all the way back to get it, that was, you're going to be in trouble right away. So,
yep, they were already, and they were not in last either.
No,
they got passed up by Anna Lee, who got done right away. They had some trouble dropping some of the utensils, but that is not what killed Robin and Chelsea.
Right.
But before I go on to the next part, anything else you want to say about this task? I thought it looked like once they had everything together, it just looked like you had to walk very slow, or else.
It looked like it was heavy. It sounded like it was heavy from the people that were actually doing it. It sounded like it was heavy. So like they had to go slow. They had to make sure that, they were going in the right direction. And then once they kind of passed it off, it seemed like it did, as long as you had every piece on there, it didn't really matter. So, it looked interesting though, because I wouldn't have thought it would. It didn't look that heavy, but I'm sure it was, because it's all, it's all wood. So,
yeah. Plus two, the one thing that I kind of noticed about this was the pet emu.
Yeah. Yes.
That kind of seemed to be the really random part of this.
Yep.
So yeah, that was something. So then after that, we had, after the roadblock, teams had to drive to Pivka Jama and descend into the cave in order to find their next clue. Then teams had to assemble a dragon in order to receive their next clue, directing them to the Fonda Fish Farm. So I think the big thing about this is we got to talk about Tom and Ashley taking the wrong exit and going 30 kilometers past where they were supposed to go. So that cost them quite a bit, because they left in second pretty easily, and then they already slid down to fifth.
Right.
So
they also had some issues putting the dragon together too.
They did. They were lucky, Robin and Chelsea, obviously. Chelsea had to go back and walk all the way back. So they were able to still beat them to the cave. Now the cave was really neat to see. I mean, I would have loved it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. They call it spelunking, I believe. Yeah, whatever that's called, caving, whatever.
Spelunking, right.
Yep. Yeah. And really cool visual to see. I bet it was way cooler in person.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where you just would love to be there. I think the teams that did get there, Greg and John, I mean, what can we say about them too? They're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, we're running out of adjectives for them. We
Yeah,
really are, or at least
yeah,
I am.
yeah. They're in a league of their own.
They really are.
They're starting to be a dominant team. My only worry, like I said, are they peaking too early? Because we've seen this. Like they're not hitting their stride at the right time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've had 4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Can they go 7 weeks in a row? I feel like they're due for something to happen. I don't know when, but I don't know. I have a feeling, and if they can keep up what do they got? Three more episodes to win.
Mm-hmm.
I think seven in a row. That would be very impressive. But I feel like something's got to give with them, and I don't know what it would be, but I just feel like something would have to give.
Right.
But we also saw Robin Corey get to the cave in second. No big problems there. Greg and John did have one issue with the dragon, but they fixed it relatively quick. Robin Corey pretty much aced the task. Then we had Anna Lee and Steve. They did a pretty solid job on the task too. And they arrived to the cave on third. And then we had Joel and Garrett, who also went there, and they made dragon noises and helped them.
Like bear noises, which also sounded like I forget, lion noises, right?
He said
lion and
bear noise. Kids, yeah. Yep. They are a fun team, so I will definitely give them that. The beard stuff, though, oh gosh, oh man, something happens with that beard every week. I swear.
Yeah.
So, and then we finally got Todd and Ashley there, and they were kind of bickering, and that was kind of the start of the bickering. They did not have a good leg. Obviously, we'll get more into it, but yeah, they had some issues putting together the dragon. Todd was working on the dragon. Ashley basically said they both have that personality where they want to do it, right? They want to put together, they both want to lead.
Mm-hmm.
So said the best thing for her would be to just back off and relax and watch him do it. But there was a problem where he couldn't figure out what needed to be done, and he told her, hey, go look at the diagram and then come back to me. And she kind of fought with him a little bit. So yeah, they were bickering. That was kind of like a constant thing with the wrong directions and the bickering. But then they finally got it done. And then finally, Robin and Chelsea, and we should talk about them because they did pass the entrance. And this is where they lost the episode.
Yeah.
They lost it by going past the camping sign. And I believe it was it Chelsea who told Robin, hey, I think we need to turn here. And Robin was like, no, we don't.
Yeah, because there was also, there wasn't only that sign, but there was also a sign as they were going down the road that I think it literally said cave, or cave with an arrow to the left. So even if they messed up with that, which they did, which I'm not going to fault them for not knowing, okay, a camping site, I'm not going to look for a cave either if it's just camping.
Right.
I'm giving them a small pass on that. But if the next sign says cave with an arrow to the left, you take that sign.
Yeah, you kind of like if I mean, there must be something that they have to look at that could, lead them to where they're supposed to go. But if you did pass that point, I mean, I would get confused as well. I would be like, okay, this says cave as well, but there's quite a few other caves there. So this is where they lost it, and they took a long time to get to the caves, and they could just never catch up.
Right.
Oh, they finally got to the cave. They seemed like they did the task relatively well. Didn't really see too much issues with them. But then we went to the Fonda Fish Farm, and we had some interesting stuff take place here. Greg and John, they did the needle in the haystack challenge because they said that if you're first and there's a needle in the haystack, you have more opportunities to find things, which I agree with them. I feel like you don't want to do that towards the back of the pack if you don't have to.
Right.
And they did this task pretty well. I don't think they really made any mistakes there. Robin Corey got their second, and they did make a mistake here. They did forget their buoy.
And they also forgot where the container where the material was too. They forgot that too. So
Yes. Yeah.
that was I thought that was even the bigger part of it. You can get by with the buoy. I think you could have gotten by with the buoy, even though it was that specially marked one.
Yes.
But you have to have the material with you.
Correct. To
Yeah.
do it. So they had to go all the way back.
Right.
But before we go any further, Calbert, what are you picking here? For what detour are you picking?
So I'm taking the buoy one because it looked like the easier of the two, even though you could make the argument, because Stephen and Lee chose to do the cleaning of the
scrape off.
The scraper. You could make the argument that might have been faster, but if you could find the buoy quicker, it's just swapping them out and making sure that you have the muscles, the shells.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the muscle.
So
I mean, the description is the detour was a choice between scrape off or swap out. And scrape off, teams had to use chains to scrape off the barnacles from the underside of a floating fish farming container in order to receive their next clue. And swap out, teams had to paddle a kayak out to 2 marked buoys, pull out nets filled with mussels, replace the buoys, and deliver the mussels to shore in order to receive their next clue. So I think this one. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm doing the mussels just because, sure, the scraping might be faster, but you had to get every single bit of that scraping off of it, and like it took. That's why they gave you 2 chains.
Yep.
Not the singer.
Right.
But I'm doing the mussels because, okay, I swapped out the buoy, I grabbed the mussels, I put it in my boat, I put it in my kayak. Sorry, I put it in my kayak. I go out, I do it again. Easy peasy. So yeah, you could make the argument that the scraping would probably be faster, but you don't know at what pace you have to go at for the scraping. So because you both had to do it, and so, which I was surprised that Stephen and Lee chose to do the scraping, because, and I don't think necessarily using your back or anything else, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it was just pure freaking strength and force.
Right.
But because you had to get 2 of them, you had to scrape off 2 of them. That takes time. I think it would be faster to just do the mussels myself, but that's what I would. Go ahead.
I think this one depends on where you're at. I think if you're in the front and you feel confident, I would have done swap out. But I feel like if you're towards the end, I would have done scrape off, because I don't want to spend a lot of time looking for a needle in the haystack kind of thing,
True.
I would have just done scrape off just to get it done. But I mean, in swap out, I think I was kind of questioning, like, what was the point of Corey or Rob diving in and looking for? What was he looking for?
He was looking for the bag of mussels that they had.
Weren't they attached to the buoy?
Yeah, which if they would have known that they grabbed the wrong buoy, which was half their problem.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's why they were like, oh, well, I think we already have a bag of mussels. We just have to find it, because that was connected to the buoy. But of course, when you don't know which buoy you're at, because to your point, it's a needle in a haystack, they all look alike.
Right.
That's what took them so long. And they were pretty close. Like, and that's a big mistake for them, because they usually do a really good job of reading their clue.
Yeah, there's 2 things that they messed up. They didn't bring the buoy the first time, and then they didn't read their clue that the marked buoy was the one that had the mussels.
Right.
Okay, so that makes sense. So yeah, they were like totally lost on that challenge, and they basically gave up. But meanwhile, Steve and Anna Lee did the scrape off, and they did it, right the first time. And Joel and Garrett, they kept with the swap out, and they did it right. And then Rob and Corey had to switch to the scrape off, and then they finally did it. But they said the challenge was hard, so I'm just gonna. It looked like Steve and Anna Lee had some tough time doing it as well.
I I think Rob and Corey gave. This is just my opinion when I was watching the episode. I think Rob and Corey pretty much told them how to do this challenge, because I don't think Joel and Garrett really. I mean, they read it, but I don't think they understood the concept of what they actually had to do
Yeah.
until Corey said to him, like, "This is what you have to do."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, well, that's disappointing."
Yeah. They didn't read their clue. They just kind of rushed out there.
So
their whole thing was they were not going to use the express pass, which I feel is a very smart move. I feel like you hold on to it as long as you can.
right.
The
Which
time you're going to use it early is if you have to use it, if it's do or die,
Right. Which now they'll have to. They'll have no choice because they're on like 10 now. They'll have to use it. They'll have to use it now for this episode. Or whatever it is,
Yeah.
So.
If it's the detour roadblock, they got to use it. So, they got to feel pretty confident, even though they had a big mistake here to drop down to fourth. Yeah, they got to feel pretty confident at least that they can catch up or even take first in the legs. So shouldn't be too hard for them next episode. What about so then Todd and Ashley seemed like they had some issues again. We don't know if it was like going to the caves, but they were definitely bickering. He said, "You're going to navigate, I'm driving," because I was navigating last time and I screwed up. So
right.
He kind of let Ashley take the lead. Ashley kind of let Todd take the lead during the Dragon Challenge. These two just were not on the same page, and they couldn't find the chains. They chose scrape off, and they couldn't find the chains.
Which was so funny.
Oh, geez. And then
because Todd was celebrating even before he even got them.
Yes. He was celebrating once he found them. But Ashley's the one that, maybe it's right by where we got the kayak.
Duh.
I mean, I was like, yeah. Yep. Yep, that's where it is. So they were, they just were all out of sorts this week. Just terribly run leg. But for them, we're down to the final 5. They cannot have another leg like this. They will be going home if they do. So they, whatever, snags they had, they got to get them out, because this was, hopefully they got it out for at least my sake, because I can't stand losing to Goldberg again if I do. But yeah, with Robert,
shenanigans are afoot if that happens.
Exactly. So they finally get the scrape off. Now I thought it was interesting that they were sitting down when everybody else was kind of standing up. So probably not the best way to do it, but I guess they kind of knew, because they saw Rob and Corey, or they saw Joel and Garrett on the way there.
Right.
And they basically told them that Robin and Chelsea were not there.
Right.
So, so I don't think they were that worried because they didn't see them. So I think they kind of realized, oh, hey, we're probably going to take 5th, and we're just going to have to be happy with it. So that was that. Another interesting thing is Joel and Garrett secretly wished that Todd and Ashley would go home, because he viewed them as a bigger threat than Robin and Chelsea. Nothing too like hostile. They said they loved them and whatnot, but
right.
So then we finally see Robin and Chelsea make the detour, but by this time Todd and Ashley's already finished. So we already knew there was no drama, really.
They pretty much swam for 4 hours. It sounded. It made
it they just jumped.
They're like, oh, we're just gonna swim for a couple hours.
Yes.
You might want to. I mean, this was just me, but like, I was like, finish the task. Like, finish the task, then go swim.
Yes. Yes. So they eventually did it, and I think what killed them was not finding the caves, and then obviously screwing up on the roadblock. So that just 2 negatives really hurt them. But I honestly think, though, they got a lot further than I ever thought they would have gotten. I thought they would have been eliminated a lot sooner.
Yep.
But 6th place for them. So The episode's order: Greg and John coming in first again, 4 weeks in a row. Really no hiccups. Joel and Garrett surprisingly coming in second this week, so I did not expect that. Third, Steve and Annalee. I mean, that's pretty good climb up from where they were last week and at 6. So they had a pretty good lead, a good comeback. Fourth, Robin Corey kind of slipping a little bit, going down to 4. Made some mistakes. Fifth, Todd and Ashley. They slipped too, 2nd to 5th. And they made a lot of mistakes. They had their worst leg yet, but still have not finished worse than 5th. Must say that they are consistent. And then getting eliminated, Robin and Chelsea. I don't think, as far as a TV standpoint, I don't think we're losing much because Chelsea never really talked much.
Nope.
Robin had a great story, but they were kind of the villains of the season because they didn't want to work with anybody or really talk to anybody. But they really, I don't know. They were never that big of a threat to me to be like mega villains. What was your take on them?
Yeah, and they knew that they weren't even going to. They pretty much knew they weren't going to win. They were like, oh well, we can tell our kids that Greg and John or Robin Corey were going to beat us anyway.
Right.
Hey, look, we lost to them. They were better.
Right. Yeah. They congratulate. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew that they were done basically.
I mean, I get it. Like to your point, like, and I've thought about this for them for pretty much since the show started for this season. Like, they don't do anything. Contrary to what Goldberg says, like, they really don't. I don't care that they didn't talk to anybody. I don't care that they weren't there to make friends. Like, they were consistently below, towards the bottom pretty much the entire time. Like, yeah, they'd have a couple times where they'd finish like 2nd, but like they were consistently 5th, 6th, 7th in that general 7th, 8th, 9th, in that general area.
Mm-hmm. So, and they actually squeaked out a first place victory.
Yeah.
On the Mega.
They
had it on.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything for me. I'm not surprised. I did get this right. I did say that they would finish 6th in the power rankings last week.
Yes,
they did get that right.
Yes,
I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just that's back-to-back weeks. I've gotten some. The team that I want to get eliminated got eliminated.
They're out. Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, Calbert, what do you rate this episode?
I give this episode a 6.
Okay.
I didn't the challenges themselves. I didn't think were terribly hard. It was mostly just putting together the pieces for the dragon and the utensils that I thought were kind of interesting.
Yes.
That was so I gave it a 6.
I thought it was a pretty good. I like the cave. I thought they went to some interesting places. I always like the ones where they go on water. I'm going to give it a 7, even though it could have been better with, there wasn't any drama. The drama got taken out because Robin and Chelsea just got lost pretty quick.
Right.
So the drama was taken out, but I'll give it a 7. All right. So we're down to 5 teams here. Let's go over the power rankings. I'm going to start it off first this week.
Okay.
And 5th place. Now, this is just strictly from what I'm thinking here. But I think my number 5 team, I think it's going to be Steve and Annalee. They took 3rd, but I don't think they're going to be as good next week. I think they're going to go back. I just have a feeling that they're going to struggle this week. No reason or whatsoever, but I'm putting them at 5. Who do you got at 5, Calvert?
At 5, I have Goldberg's team. I have Joel and Garrett. I just think they got lucky this week, truthfully.
Yeah.
Cool. You can make lion and bear noises. That's great. Your beards are good. You were smart not, I was surprised they did the needle in the haystack challenge of the muscles because that seems to be something that they tend to struggle with. I just think lucky this week and they caught a break and I got them at 5.
Okay. I actually got Joel and Garrett at 4.
Okay.
I think the most lucky team on this episode. Nothing against them, but I don't. They're just, I don't know. They do like the task where they have to put something together. They do those decently well, but I don't see them being a team that is going to go super far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but it's just something that that I just don't think they're going to go too much further in this race. So, all right, who do you have at number 4?
At number 4, I have Stephen and Lee. Just a small little difference, and that's just because of where they finished. They're going to their bickering is worse than even Ashley and Todd or Morgan and Lena, like, because they're their daughter and father. But like
right.
That's gonna go ahead here at some point. We're at the point now where we're down to 5 teams, to your point, and like this is where we're gonna. All right, it's time to separate the men from the boys.
Yes.
Can you win this thing? No, I don't think they can. I think this is where, unfortunately for Stephen Hanley, Steve's age is going to catch up to him. This is where it catches up to him because he's a little bit older. Not that they can't do it. I wouldn't be surprised if they. But I just think the bickering that the two of them have had is just going to come to a head, and they're gonna find a way to screw up, and kind of like what Robin and Chelsea did this week. It could be a navigation issue because they have that. Seen that last episode, this past week's episode. So not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before.
Right.
So, I mean, it's gonna come. I just don't see them winning. Nothing against them personally. Like they're fine. I just think the bickering and the like, if you're throwing in the towel even before you finish the challenge, which is what Anna Lee pretty much did.
Yes.
With building the beekeeping house.
Yes.
Like you're not going to win. Mentally you've mentally checked out. Physically you haven't, but mentally you have. So I have them at 4.
Okay. 3, I got Todd and Ashley. I think I think they got their bad leg out. Like they had so many mistakes this episode. I honestly think that they needed something like this just to get their butt in gear. And they kind of seem like the team that this would happen to. Would it surprise me if they go on another slump? No, it could happen. They could go home next week. I don't see it happening. I think they're going to at least correct some of the wrongs that they had from this week. So I got them at 3, but obviously not a great week for them. Calbert, number 3.
I have Ashley and Todd at 3 also, pretty much for the same reason that you did. Like, I think they just had a bad leg, and it happens. It's happened to everybody. I mean, Robin Corey had a bad. We can make the argument. Robin Corey had theoretically maybe a couple bad portions to legs. I was thinking about for Robin Corey, like when they were doing the soccer challenge. Yes. Look how long it took them to do that. So like they read that clue, but like it took them a while. So
yeah.
I just think that teams have bad legs, and I'm not worried about Ashley and Todd. So I have Ashley and Todd at 3 also.
2, obviously Robin Corey. They had a bad week this week too. They have shown some mistakes. The thing about them though is they have the express pass, so they're going to be able to bypass challenges. I actually do think they're probably going to come in first next week, but that's just because of the fact that they got that express. So, I mean, it's good for them, but they're still number 2. I mean, you can't carry that express pass, for every leg. But they had a down week this week, but they're definitely the second best team. Calbert 2.
I got Robin Corey too. They had a bad leg. They didn't read the clue. They know better. it just happens. I think kind of like a little bit kind of like with Todd and Ashley. It happens. You're a good team. You have a bad leg. It happens. I got them in 2.
All right, and then obviously we both have Greg and John at 1, so no surprise there. I mean, this team is just running on all cylinders. They're a highly intelligent team. They're athletic too. I know you have them at 1 as well.
Correct. Yeah, I think the only way that they don't win this thing is if they beat themselves. Is if they have like.
That's what I was gonna say, and that's what I was kind of talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
There could be something that just like they have a catastrophic meltdown right at the last second or something that just costs the race. Right. That's the one thing that I think could get them. But if we're just looking on paper, yeah, there's no reason they can't get another 7 in a row. But I mean, I don't think they're going to get first next week because they're going to have to go against Rob and Corey with the Express. But there are things where they could, they could slip up. I mean, they've been running some really great races in the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So, but anything is possible. But as right now, they're solidly number 1. Calbert, I mean, you want to say anything more about them?
No, you're good. We're good. But or if they have a bad driver in, that could be their downfall if they're not driving, right? If they're not driving, that's pretty much been their only issue. So if they don't drive, that's been only a little bit of hiccups that they've had. But otherwise, even then they still find a way.
Yeah. Still, exactly. So, all right, that's our power rankings for this week. Not anything real surprising. Where are we going next week?
We are going to Sweden. So they're going to go from Slovenia to Sweden. The name of the episode is called Everyone Loves a Comeback. Teams travel 1,000 miles from Slovenia to Sweden, where they must face their fears and skydive from 10,000 feet over the Baltic Sea, recreate a midsummer tradition, and sort through recyclable items. So that's kind of what for the preview. That's why they're skydiving. That's why the teams are skydiving on the preview. So
okay.
So we're going to Sweden.
And who do you think got the negative preview for this upcoming week?
It looked like Todd and Annalie did, and so did Ashley and Todd for what seemed to be towards the end of the preview. Doesn't mean anything, I don't think.
Right. I think actually Todd and Ashley, they showed first, and then Steve and Annalie was bickering at her dad to start walking.
Right.
Todd and Ashley seemed like they were getting in a little bit of a heated moment in the car again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, Todd and Ashley could get eliminated. I don't know. It should be interesting. Sweden should be interesting. Skydiving, that's always an interesting task. I think they've been to Sweden quite a few times, but we're down to the final 5, and we did the math. We're going to have an elimination every episode from here on out. So it's, I'm just happy. I guess I'm in the top 5. It's good to, have a team to at least go all the way to some of the last episodes. Hopefully I can make it into the finals. That's all I'm hoping. I'm hoping, Goldberg's team gets eliminated here one of these weeks, because it's got to happen. He cannot win again.
Right.
Again. Oh, no. Calvert, you got any you want to take the Goldberg role and ask a question?
So you believe that because of the number of episodes we have left, that there's going to be a team eliminated starting tomorrow and then throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a non-elim anymore. I think it's going to be think we're getting elimination every episode from here on out.
Okay.
So the only way they could have a non-elim is if they bring 4 teams to the finals again.
Which we
and
still
they haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, which we still have Ireland to go. So I'll play devil's advocate though. I'll just say I think we have one more non-elim left. Just to be, I agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I could definitely see where a team gets eliminated tomorrow, and then, but I'll be different. So,
well, that's good. That's good. Well, we do know that leg 11. We do know that that's the what do they call that leg? The quintuple. I always get that word wrong, but penultimate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We always know that leg is tough, very tough.
Right.
So if you survive this upcoming week, we know that last leg before the finals could get shaken up.
Right.
Like that could be the leg where Greg and John really struggle. Who knows?
Right.
But it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I think we could be in store for a surprise soon. So
yeah, and I mean it's going to be. I'm more interested for tomorrow's episode is when does Rob and Corey, when do they use their express pass? Because they have to use it this episode. They have no choice. So when do they choose to use it? Do they kind of struggle as they go into Sweden? That's more the interesting thing for me.
Yeah,
that wasn't really I know I really didn't ask a Goldberg-esque question there, but that's the interesting part for me to see what happens with that. So.
Yep, I agree. There's, they got the 3 tasks, obviously. Do you think they're going to do the skydive? I mean, I think they would do that. I would think they would. Yep, whatever's after that.
I think everybody. I think of the 5 teams that are left, I don't think anybody. Generally, everybody doesn't seem to be afraid of heights. So.
Right.
The teams that were afraid of heights, they're gone already. So.
Yep. So. I don't know. Should be interesting. Well, that's our review of episode 9 of the Amazing Race 35. We will be back and we will talk about which will be the 5th place team getting eliminated, and we'll do our power rankings. It's a shorter show, but we went through pretty much everything. I don't think we missed it. So,
no.
Albert, you got any final comments?
No. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see what happens when they get down to 4.
Sounds good. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.